আমাদের কিছু স্বপ্ন ছিল, মানবিক পৃথিবীর মানুষ প্রজ্জ্বল। আমাদের কিছু
Thank you for listening to our program passionfully. We have a time shortage. We still have three panelists that have not presented, including myself. I'll request them to be very short. We have to leave this venue by 8 p.m. And also our moderator has to leave now. So I'm taking over. I would invite our Chittagong University prior Vice Chancellor, Mr. Abu Taher, to present his presentation. Thank you.
That is called very simple. That is called that moderator raised the questions about that is called how to that is linkage between that is called academy industry linkage. So this is my presentation, especially that is called I can that is not raise the questions is very important. That is called that is very important. Say for example in Bangladesh, what is the actual situation of Bangladesh in 1972? We have started only 6 public universities in our country. Now that is university that is called 170. Out of 170, that is called 55 is the public university and 115 is that is private university. And out of that is called this university about for example this is a model, especially that is called 4.2 million students are running. So as that is called researcher, especially that is called identify one of the models is very important. In this model, we can basically raise 2 questions. First one that is called how academic industry linkage cells, that is called our qualification is very important, certificate of qualification. And number 2, what are the factors basically influence our education system, especially. So our literature, we can identify that is called 5 factors very important. 5 factors is very important. That is called first one that is called organizational design factor. Knowledge transfer factors, already that is called mentioned some our expert. Third one, there is government support is very important, and collaborative factor is very important, technology transfer is very important. In the meantime, one of the speaker clearly mentioned that that in our Bangladesh government is still in the education sector, budget GDP less than 2% only allocation for that is called education sector. This 2% are not only that is called higher education, it also include our primary education, secondary education, college education, as well as university. In case in education, the ratio is that is called only GDP 0.87. It is the lowest in the India, lowest in that is called Nepal, even lowest in the Sri Lanka. So how that is without government support, is it possible to that is called this one? Our alumni cannot come forward to the campus to develop the endowment fund in the campus. So that is another situations. And that is called technology transfer. We already mentioned that how technology transfer. Most of the students, especially in the public university, they are not aware of their smartphone to take the class in online classes. So how is that possible technology? So which are basically impacting our quality education. And next one that is called we can follow that is called in case of research. Basically, we can follow one of the procedures. Basically, we can select some public university, some private university, some public enterprises, especially industrial enterprise, as well as that is called some private enterprise. On the basis of this guidance, at first we have public university, we can choose that is called Dhaka University. They are our first university in our country, you know very well, established in 1921. And my university, especially that is a university. Accordingly, that is a private university, we can choose that is first our private university, North-South University. Second, that is called Brack University. My house is that is in Chittagong, and also the Fort City International University is also important. And in case of public sector, we can choose some industry. And finally, that is called findings is very important. That is called a sample size is very important. And also that is called a develop 40 questionnaires supplied to our respondents. In say, for example, while I was working in this state, in that is called in more than 20 years ago, we can distribute that is only questionnaire. Within 7 days, more than 100,000 respondents come up. But in our country, we can send the questionnaires, but nobody can respond. Among that's response, 400, on 170 are respond properly. But if you check up each and every documents, most of the respondents are not responding. That is called inconsistent, or maybe they are lapse. And finally, that is called a 170, that is called 176 are sustained. And as per our research purpose, only 44% response is sufficient. That analysis that is called very simple. And scenario, I can never say this one, this is very important. At first, you can understand the higher education in Bangladesh. You understand that is called first one, public university, 55. How many students that is called? If you look up to in our country, especially higher education, more than 2/3 students in that is called our national university. You know that our national university is not on campus. That basically it's lot of affiliated courses over the Bangladesh. About that is called 2,226. In case that is, if my visit, I was a student of the Chittagong College. Hopefully, there are a lot of students in Chittagong College. Only one teachers, he did that is college, take classes, intermediate class, degree class, honors class, masters class. আমি তাকে জিজ্ঞেস করতাম তুমি কোন ক্লাস নাও, তখন সে আমার বলে স্যার আমি কোন ক্লাস নিই না এটা বলেন। So this is the situation of the Bangladesh, especially higher education, where that is called more than 70% of students are studying that is called higher educations. And say, for example, recently another university that is called Islamic Arabic University, you know that in our country, there is a lot of madrasas. And they basically control under that is called Islamic Arabic University. They basically Alim, Fazil, Kamil, there are a lot of degrees, but they have no teacher at all in the madrasa, in the right tracks. And next, another that is called Bangladesh Open University. That is, I was a treasurer in 2013 to that is 2016 as a treasurer. And also they opened that is called Open University. Open is very nice. I also look up the visit in the British Open University. I also look up to the American Open University. Their system is very nice. That is called LMS system. They basically interactive virtual classroom to provide the teaching. Our Bangladesh, what are the Open University? Open University, if you visit the exam center, তারা বলে স্যার বই দেখে না লিখলে গুনাহ হবে। আমি বই দেখে না লিখলে গুনাহ হবে। আমার এক বন্ধু আছে, ইজ ভেরি নাইস। আমার এক বন্ধু আছে, তোরা ইংলিশ পড়ছ, নো প্রবলেম এট অল, ভুল হলে অসুবিধা নাই, কিন্তু আমি পড়ি আরবি, আরবি ভুল পড়লে এখনো সমস্যা, আল্লাহর কাছেও আমাকে জবাব দিতে হবে, সেজন্য ভুল লিখে যাবে না, দেখে লিখতে হবে। সো দ্যাট ইজ দ্য কালচার অফ দ্য ওপেন ইউনিভার্সিটি ইন আওয়ার কান্ট্রি, দ্যাট ইজ কল্ড সিচুয়েশনস। And next one that is called a private university. If as a, that is called, I was that is called a member of the Grants Commission. 4 years, I visited a lot of public university, private university. আমি যদি I can that is take the আমি স্যারের সাথে বলছিলাম, আমি প্রিন্সিপাল I can look at the principal minimum 20 to 30 private university of Bangladesh immediately stop to ensure the quality educations. University grants are already blacklisted. In spite of them, they basically provide a certificate each and every students in our country. Still, this is the situation in our country. Government are not controlled because our private university owner, he is not only the owner of the private university, he was an MP, he was a minister, he's a banker, he's a, that is called a chairman of the bank, he's a chairman of the insurance, he's a chairman of the TV channel, he's a chairman of the newspaper. একের ভিতর 10 আছে না, একের ভিতর 10, একটা হাত বন্ধ করলে 9টা হাত চলে। So you can never do anything that is called in our country. This is the real scenario. In the American context, you can see a lot of change. But if you can go to that is busy, that is the situation in their country. So in spite of that, you must be maintain the second check and balance at any cost to ensure the quality education. These are the main motto of the private university. That is a last UGC report that is clearly mentioned that this is the last research report clearly mentioned that more than that is called 4.2 million, that is students. Among very interesting findings, more than that is called 4.2 million, about that is called 70% students in our national university. If you look at the national university, is it process that we ensure the quality educations? Most of the colleges in our country, they are not ensure the quality education. Still now, so far I know. That is it. And next one that is called, আপনি যদি দেখেন আমার কারা ডিগ্রি আমি সেদিকে যাচ্ছি, that is another issue. This is the very interesting findings. Interesting finding that clearly mentioned that 20 skill is very important to require the mitigate the demands of the corporate house within the country or outside the country. Their expectation, those who are basically employed, their expectation is very high. But there is a graduate, they are not key mitigate the demands of the employer. So there are some gaps. Always or all are negative gaps. This is the skill is required: written skill, speaking skill, technical skill, adaptive skill. But they are not provide the skills in the right time. That is, universities failed to provide the skills among the graduates. While I was a member, I was that is called a Bible Bosi of the PC exams. As a UGC member, I asked some questions. What are the basic texts in your that is called subject? Most of the students, they are not mentioned the basic textbook in the that is called a PC, who are basically BCS exam in our country, the top level service. So this is the scenario. The most of the students in our country, they sheet. I'm the sheet. What does it mean sheet? এটা কি? ওই sheet কতগুলো দেয় সেটা পাস করে যাচ্ছে আর question is very simple. There are no creative questions. All of that is called a past and that is called a classes. That is important scenario in our country, especially the higher education. So this is the skill gap is very important. Our first speaker clearly identified that the skill gap mismatch between that is called industry requirements as well as that is called our education needs. So that is very important. And next one that is called a factor influencing. So we can in the model you can basically highlighting that is 5 factors. So you know that 5 factors. First one HR. First one that OBE, outcome based curriculum is very important. Number 2 say diverse teaching is also important. Alumni mentoring program. Say for example in Harvard University, so I in business school, they from day one they introduced the alumni mentoring program. What is alumni mentoring program? In admission of the Harvard University Business School, he or she admitted in the university first day. That is called one alumni established in this alumni. They mentor 3 or 4 students from day one. Automatically, your graduation as well as that is called knowledge about the skills in the right way and feed for the particular situation. This is the government support and everything that is called. We are University we are trying to that is called a skill development center, but we are failed. I already talked with the National Skill Development Authority to fill up the skill gap among the that is called students of the CU campus, but we are failed. I also talked with that is called Chittagong Alumni Association, especially Mr. Karim. Please funding that is called to establish that is a skill development center. And in that case, taka 10 crore taka is important, not only important, but our National Skill Development Authority clear we can develop the software, not hardware. So I request our especially that is called a alumni or that is industry owner to come forward to develop the infrastructure facilities to build up to mitigate the skill gap in our requirements. And finally, there is আপনার মনে হয় আমার মনে হয় এইগুলো আমি আর যাচ্ছি না, জাস্ট একটু আমার মনে একটা মডেল আপনারা দেখলে বুঝতে আমরা যখন রিসার্চ করি তাহলে you must be that is called prove your hypothesis. That is called in case of that is called my research, there are 6 hypotheses. The 6 factors automatically supported in the quality of education. Is that these are the requirements for the impact of the quality education. And finally, that is called then also that is called in some strategies that is called that. Such a study to enhance. Say for the top-down study is very important. There are 3 level strategy: top-down industry, bottom-up industry, and insider strategy. There is a lot of strategies as per our discussion in the research report. On the basis of that is called recommendations. That is insider strategy. Conclusion that is called very simple conclusions. If we ensure our quality education, sustainable quality education, equitable for the immediate access, of course, our alumni, endowment for alumni will come forward, our industry come forward, and government also will support it to the higher education. And automatically, there is a mess between that is industry requirements as well as graduation employability in our society in upcoming days. On the basis of this recommendation, we must be identify some specific activities for Dean Office, for University Grants Commission, for Ministry. That is called clearly mentioned. There are some activities. They are the activities. There are support activities. That is who are these activities? Who are the basically that are short term, mid term, long term? Who are the responsible? We can very clearly mention that is called develop. After the completion of the report, this report already submitted to our that is called present government, but government can never take any initiative still now. আমরা এই রিপোর্ট কিন্তু গভর্নমেন্টের হাতে আছে, দ্যাট ইজ এভরিথিং ডান. So they're very unfortunate. That is so. I request again and again, please come for all alumni to our that is called mitigate the skill gap between that is called the society. Thank you to all. That is my short presentation.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Abu Taher, for valuable information.